Good morning, everyone, and welcome to MSM this week. We're so glad that you can join us here online. One big thing is that we really don't know who's joining us. So if you are watching this right now, I want you to go down below and comment, "Hi, I'm here," and then put your first name, right? You don't have to put your whole name. Okay, just put your first name. And I want to know who is watching this so that we can reach out and make sure that you are getting the right stuff, right? We want to connect with you. So do that right now. So today, we're in week 2 of Free People. And so last week, Kira talked about how free people or the right rules can set you free. We talked about how rules aren't barriers that keep us from doing good things or fun things, but they can be barriers that keep us safe. But this week, we want to talk about dancing. So, as you see me here, I'm not much of a dancer. I don't know about you, but I am not a dancer. I'm not going to say that I can dance. I'm not going to say that I could ever dance, right? When I was growing up, there was all these like new cool dances. I could never do any of them, but that's beside the point. What we're talking about today is that the free people, they try not to dance with danger. So free people don't dance with danger. So what do we mean by danger? Well, last week we talked about how we come back to the greatest commandment, right? That love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Now, when Jesus said that, he was taking two different things. So, love to God, right? Sorry, I got a little ahead. But there's no evidence for the combination of the two texts. Only from Jesus, right? Jesus is the fulfillment of the covenant, the fulfillment of a promise. So love to God finds its only fulfillment in love of neighbor. And then love to one's neighbor must be rooted in the love of God. That's why it's called the greatest commandment. Although it's two separate ideas, it's one great commandment. And they're connected to the 10 commandments. So the first 3 commandments of the 10 commandments, they deal with the love of God, and the remaining 7 with the love of your neighbor. See, the 10 commandments, although you don't see them plastered in people's businesses, in the church, really, we don't plaster them on the walls, because we were given a different way or shape of the 10 commandments, which is the greatest commandment. So, you shall have no other gods before me. You shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Keep the Sabbath holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. And you shall not covet your neighbor's possessions. Those are the 10 commandments. Now, when we think about danger, and we think about the 10 commandments, we think about the greatest commandment, we think about being as Jesus is. Did Jesus dance with danger? Now, some of you might think, yeah, Jesus was flipping tables, and he was always dancing with danger. But the danger that we're talking about is the danger of what you might look at on the internet. The things you might say to people. The things that you might do that might not be legal. That's the danger. Right? When Jesus danced with danger, if you want to look at it like that, he was dancing with danger because he was trying to show them that he loved them and that God was there for them. So the connection between the greatest commandment and the 10 commandments is seen in a great fashion. So if we flip over real quick to James, see James, he was the brother of Jesus. And although at the beginning of Jesus' ministry, James was very, very skeptical. But James actually came to his senses and was one of the biggest advocates for Jesus and his teachings. So James 1:5-8 says this: "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do." Now let's talk about that kind of those harsh words real quick. You will be tossed and turned like the wind of the sea if you don't have faith. I think what this is saying is if you're just going to God as a vending machine, there's no substance behind it. But if you're going to God with the faith that he will come through, he'll hear your prayers. Now, why do I go into wisdom so quickly? Well, wisdom is what helps us stay away from danger or understand that danger might be coming. So you could take your relationships with your parents or your friends, or your friendships, right? Some of you might know, man, this topic that I'm about to bring up might bring some danger. Or maybe we're going to get in trouble if we do this, right? That's wisdom. As you get older, you learn more wisdom. You learn, if I do this, this is going to happen. But I'll also say that you learn wisdom by experience. So some of you right now are thinking of an experience that you might have had that you're like, oh yeah, I know not to do that now. Which I'm not saying go and do dumb stuff. But what I'm saying is that wisdom comes in a lot of different ways. But one way that we don't really utilize enough is asking for it. Truly going to God in prayer and asking for wisdom. God will give it freely. So the 10 commandments, the greatest commandment, danger. Why are these talked about? Because in biblical times, the people of Israel, God's chosen people, were given the 10 commandments, laying out these are the rules that you will follow. Rules that will not hinder you from living a great life, but rules that will give you freedom in this world. Flash forward to Jesus. The Israelites had gotten the rules, messed up. Known the rules, messed up. Rededicated their lives, messed up, right? You see the pattern? And a lot of it was because they were so focused on, I have to follow these rules. But God knows that we're not going to be able to follow all of the rules to a T. So Jesus says, you know what? Stop thinking so much. It comes down to two things. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And love your neighbor as yourself. If you do those two things, you're fulfilling the 10 commandments and you're not dancing with danger. But to get those things, you need wisdom. To have those things, freedom, you need wisdom. So it is a moral imperative of Christian behavior. It is the blueprint of Christian love, the greatest commandment. The two commandments are inseparable, and as they become one. What other thing do we see that is separate yet whole? The Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, is one God. You cannot love God without loving your neighbor. And you cannot love your neighbor without the grace and love of God. See, Jesus came to show that Although he's asking us to follow these things, he has already set the example. Jesus shows us that love is the way. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. And be free in knowing that Christ loves you. Go and tell somebody you love them today. See you guys.